Hey y'all, this is Kim with Creative Escapades. Welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me today. Let's jump right into our video and see what we can create. Okay, so our project for today is going to be making glow-in-the-dark coasters, and I have my supplies here that I'm going to show you what I'm going to be using. But this whole idea for this project came along because of this little flower here that I used extra resin or leftover resin from another project and poured it into a silicone mold. And there was quite a bit of the clear, and at the last minute I put some of this opal glitter on the bottom of the resin, and then and this right here is from Glitter Chimp. It is a gorgeous chunky opal colors, and then I covered the backside of the opal glitter with this glow-in-the-dark glitter that I got from Hobby Lobby. And I wasn't sure if it was really going to work or not, but the opal in the light just shows up so pretty, and it actually does glow in the dark. So I thought, how cool would it be to put this on a coaster? So I have these little wooden coasters, and I got these off of Amazon, so I'll put the link of that below in the description box. But I am using this Krylon white flat spray paint to put my base coat down, and then I got Faux Rizzle Resin here, which is a 1-to-1 ratio. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the resin down and do sort of the epoxy method, where you put the epoxy down first and then you rub your glitter into the epoxy. Then I'll put another layer of resin after the first layer cures, and I'm going to pretty much do the same thing with the opal so that it will kind of be separated with that extra layer of resin in between there. And then I'll coat it again with resin, and then I have some waterslide decals that I want to put on there. So I have a little disclaimer right here. I did video when I did the epoxy method on this, but I didn't realize while I was doing it that my computer had gone into an update, so I lost that entire part of the video. But we'll put a link to another video where I did the epoxy method so you can see exactly how I do that. So these have cured for 24 hours with the glow-in-the-dark glitter on it. And once it had cured, I used some clear matte spray paint to seal them, because I didn't want the glow-in-the-dark glitter to any of it to come loose and float in my layer in between the epoxy layer in between the glow-in-the-dark and the opal glitter. So right now I'm just going to get these coated with a layer of the Faux Rizzle epoxy, and I am allowing the resin to go over the edges this time. I did not do the edges with the epoxy method on the first layer for the glow in the dark, but I do want to seal the edges now, so it's okay if it flows over. And I did about 20 mils of resin, and the way I get the exact measurement is I have those little medicine cups, and I got those off of Amazon too, so I'll put a link for those below. But I just measured out 10 of the A and 10 of the part B, and then mixed it together and Then for the coasters, I like to let it set for just a few minutes so that it thickens up a little bit. That way it doesn't completely all flow right off the edges of the coasters like it sometimes does when your resin is a little bit thinner. And I can manipulate it a little bit more when it's a little bit thicker. But I will say this, when you are using Faux Rizzle, you don't have a long working time with it. Some of the other resins that I use have 45 minutes to an hour working time. And so you have to just kind of watch your time and watch how thick your resin is getting so that you know if you need to kind of pick up the pace so you don't get your resin hardening in the cup. So we're just going to go ahead and get this one torched. And this is one bad mama torch right here. I am a torch destroyer. I don't know what I do to them, but they don't last very long. But this one right here is a pretty decent torch, so I'm liking it. So these are now ready. Got my resin on all 4 of them, and I'm going to use my catcher paper, and I'm going to set one of these in the center. And a catcher paper, all it is just a piece of paper that will catch my overflow of glitter if I get a little crazy and sprinkle it off the edges. And I'm just going to be very, very gentle with the bottle here of opal glitter because I don't want to like do a full covering. I want to make sure that that glow-in-the-dark glitter below it is still going to be visible once I get all these coated with this opal glitter. So I'm just trying to be very careful about how much I sprinkle into the epoxy, and just a little bit. I don't want to shake the bottle too much. Just trying to tap it onto the coaster and sprinkle it. Give it a nice sprinkle all over and still be able to see the glow-in-the-dark glitter below it. So I've sped the video up here a little bit. This could get boring, but you can see on my piece of paper that the overflow the glitter. And what I do once I get done with my project is you can use this paper, fold it in half, and put your loose glitter back into your jar so that you don't have any waste. So got 2 done, and look at the color on this thing. And you can't see what I was saying, but there was even at different angles, there's this orange fiery gold look to it. So it just changes colors as the light reflects differently on it. And I absolutely love it. So almost done. And then we'll let these set and cure overnight before we put our top layer of resin on there. And this is what they look like right now. So I'm going to fold my paper, and then I'm just going to take my bottle and put the overflow back in there. Glitter is just too expensive, and I'm going to put a disclaimer in right here too, because I have discovered the hard way that there really is a difference in craft glitter and quality glitter like this right here, which is polyester glitter, I believe. And your craft glitter is really pretty and it sparkles really well, but if you have to do any kind of sanding or anything like that, you can sand the color right off of it. So I did that on one of my tumblers and I wasn't too happy. So, in the long run, the polyester glitter is better for your projects, but you can use any kind that you prefer to. So these have set for now for 24 hours, and you can see that shine of that. I put another layer of resin over the top, which I did not video because it was just me pouring resin on there. And I'm ready to do my water slides now. And I created these water slides in the design space for Cricut and got them put onto the water slide paper, which is the Spin It brand for this project. And then I used this UV archival spray, and I put 3 layers of that on top of the design just so that it would protect the ink from when I go to put it in this water. I did print these out on an inkjet printer, and you can see that I'm trimming them very close. I got them to the exact size that I needed to cover the coaster, but I wanted to just point out that when I'm doing water slides or any kind of decals or anything like that, the tattoos or whatever, getting the design as close as you can, cutting close to the design, it really is helpful so that you don't have a lot of excess that you have to fool with. So I got my bowl of room temperature water here, and the way that I do my water slides is I just take them and I dip it into the water, and you see it instantly will curl up. So I just try to get it in there long enough to soak that backer paper, and then I just hold it in my hand 30 seconds to a minute, whatever, and then you will notice that the paper will start to lay flat again. And as it does, you're able to work with the slide a little bit better when it's uncurled. So just keep checking and testing it and just pushing the edges, and it will eventually lay flat. And water is doing its job of separating the decal from the back paper, the carrier paper. And while I'm waiting, I am just going to make sure that my coaster has a nice amount of water on it. This will help the decal slide right into place onto the surface of the coaster. I'm just dipping my fingers in there and making sure that the whole entire surface is covered. And now you see how flat it's laying? I just dip it back in there for another few seconds until I can feel the water slide actually moving off of the carrier paper. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time. Some of the decals that I've used in the past, as soon as you put them back in the water, they separate from the carrier paper. This Spin It brand, this doesn't seem to do that. So, but you can tell when it's ready because you can actually move just like that right there. And I want to make sure that when it starts to move, that it's moving smoothly. If it feels like it's catching it all, then I just put it back in and wet it for a little bit longer. And then I'm just going to hold one side with my thumb while I pull the carrier paper out from underneath the water slide. And there it is. And then with that water underneath, You can move the water slide to get it in the exact position that you want it in. And then I just use this silicone brush, and I'm not going to put pressure on this. I'm just basically letting the weight of the silicone brush itself to do the work, and I'm just dragging it across the top of the water slide, and then it's pushing that water underneath the slide out to the edges. And I'm going to go all the way around. And just check for anywhere where it looks like there might be water under there. You do not want to have any bubbles or places where it looks like there might still be some water under there. You'll make sure it's completely flat on your surface. And you don't want to push too hard because you don't want to tear your water slide. And there it is. I love this. So sparkly. And I'm just going to take this paper towel and I'm just dabbing it against the coaster. I'm not rubbing it at all. Most of the water has been pushed out and it's around the edges. So you'll make sure that that is all gone. And look at that. Is that not gorgeous? I can't wait to see what it does for the glow in the dark. But there's so many colors it's showing through there. I just love the way it's turning out. Looks great. So I'm going to do the rest of these now, and I'm going to speed it up just a little bit, but I'm just doing the same process. I wet the water slide and hold it in my hand until it goes back flat. I add water to the surface of my project and then slide the water slide onto the surface and use the silicone brush to squeegee basically all the water out from underneath, and then just dab it dry with the paper towel. And do it one more time. It's looking so pretty. And the last one. Soak it a little bit more and then remove the backer paper. This one had quite a bit of water underneath it. It kept trying to move on me, but I got it in place. And there you go. So you want to let these set and dry, and I let them set overnight just to be sure that they had no more water and that they adhered really good to the surface of the coaster. And now I have another 20 mils of the Faux Rizzle, and I'm going to put a topper layer of epoxy on this, and it is going to make this pop. I'm just trying to divide the resin out between all four of the coasters, and I'm leaving just a touch in the cup in case I need to touch up anything, maybe around the sides or anywhere else that I see that might need a little bit extra. And again, I let the resin set just a little bit so that it would get a little bit thicker. because I do want it to go over the edges, but I don't want it to just be so thin that it rolls off really easy. I want it to be where I can manipulate it a little bit and get the edges. It will thin up a little bit when I use the torch on it, so it's going to flow a little bit over the edge, but that's okay. I want to make sure that the sides are coated as well. I am loving this design. I think these are probably some of my favorite coasters that I've done. It's so cool. Add a little bit of heat, and then I'm going to let them set overnight. Look at those colors. There's so many colors in this. It's that opal. I love that glitter. And now they have set for 24 hours, and I put them on a dark paper and for the background, just so you can kind of get an idea of what they look like. And here is the glow in the dark. This picture right here I took with my phone just by turning off the light, and it kind of blurry, but this next picture you'll see it actually, I put it on a white background, turned out the lights, and this is what I have. It's amazing. I absolutely love these. They turned out so cool. And this is one by itself up close. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, please click like and share. You help my channel grow when you do that, and I want to thank you for that. This description of everything will be below in the box, and I want to invite you back and join me for my next creative escapade. Thanks, y'all.